You're gonna get no's in sales. It's just part of the process. But if you use the tactics you'll learn in today's video from a real call that we had with a lead, you'll be able to do what our sales team did and turn a no into a $200,000 opportunity. Hey everyone, I'm Jeremy from UpLead, and welcome back to B2B Sales and Lead Generation. If you're an SDR, BDR, or managing a sales team, you know that no's happen. Our sales team at UpLead experiences the same thing, so before I get into the questions that we asked to change their mind, here's a summary of the start of the conversation when the lead said that there would be no deal. Using our own intent data, which I'll talk about later, our head of global sales development, Chris, was able to find that the VP of sales at a large company in our target audience was searching for a new lead gen database. When Chris hopped on a discovery call with them, their VP told us that they've been locked into a cumbersome contract with our biggest competitor on the lead gen market, ZoomInfo. Then the VP said that since they couldn't get out of their contract, there'd be no deal until the very end of 2023, which would be almost a year later. Essentially, she retracted her previous interest in switching to UpLead. But Chris didn't give up or settle for reaching out at the end of 2023 to restart the conversation. Instead, he was able to turn that "we can't right now" answer into an immediate $200,000+ opportunity. Let's dive into how we overcame rejection and how you can do the same. First of all, learn why your lead said no. When the VP said that they were unable to start using our services at that time, our first step to overcoming the rejection was booking a call to learn why they said no. Get curious. In order to form a strong rebuttal, Chris needed to figure out their reasoning and what they needed. He first asked,
"Who is your current provider?"
She told him that they're using ZoomInfo, which is one of the biggest lead gen databases out there. So then he asked,
"Is it a situation where like somebody had committed a while back to like a 2 or 3 year deal and now you're kind of on the back end, you're trying to get out, but you're locked in?"
The VP said that they had been in a 3-year contract that was impossible to get out of. So they wouldn't even be able to go forward with UpLead until it ended. Even now, Chris kept asking questions.
We run into situations like this a lot with people locked into long ZoomInfo contracts that either want out or they aren't satisfied and look to us as kind of a stopgap. So we can be creative too.
She said they'd been experiencing long-standing issues with the types of leads that they were bringing in. Since Zoom doesn't have features that distinguish between different types of niche companies that they wanted to get into contact with. Plus, many of the emails that they got were just inaccurate. So Chris emphasized how UpLead will solve their issues by focusing on lead quality and how we guarantee 95% contact data accuracy. He shared that our contract backs up that guarantee by giving credits back if we're ever below that threshold.
I actually used to work at ZoomInfo for 3 years, so I'm very familiar with how they can be legally and with regards to their contracts.
This statement builds trust, which made her feel more comfortable in opening up about their struggles with the platform, because there was a real-life person who understood. Before fully pitching UpLead, he asked,
"What are the most important things to you?" I know you had mentioned accuracy right there. Like, out of a data vendor, like, what do you guys value?
She talked about how they were looking to find niche companies in their target audience that would be more likely to convert. Then, Chris shared how UpLead's intent data and advanced search filters allow us to specialize in finding niche audiences who might want to buy your solution before you've even reached out to them. He then asked another question.
But I am curious. I did have another company that I was working with a couple of weeks ago that said something similar. Like, they really like ZoomInfo and they were noticing some gaps in the coverage, and that was like, hey, well, maybe that's where we can fill in.
Besides incorrect data and needing to find niche targets, she also wanted a more flexible provider that could work with her company's specific needs. Notice that as Chris learned more, he was building the perfect pitch, which is where it all comes together.
It was all part of the master plan, wasn't it?
After getting all this info, Chris shared a few presentation slides showing how UpLead is the option that will solve the exact challenges that they face. Since she wasn't able to get out of the contract until the end of the year, he offered a 2-part solution that made the sale more likely to happen now versus in a year. The first part of the solution would be an initial engagement and temporary solution to their issues. Chris proposed that they would immediately get value from UpLead by using it in tandem with ZoomInfo until the contract expired. It would allow them to fill the data accuracy accuracy gaps by verifying and enriching ZoomInfo's lead data. That way, their team is only putting effort into accurate leads. By the way, give this video a thumbs up if you're excited about closing more high-ticket deals. Subscribe and hit that bell so that you don't miss future videos just like this one. The second part gave them incentive for a long-term switch to UpLead. During the initial engagement, when they're still paying and using ZoomInfo, they would pay a lower fee or have more flexible credits with UpLead. Then, after the ZoomInfo contract ends, they'd pay the full rate. But since they need to sign a multi-year contract with us to get the lower rate year one and immediately solve their problems, the deal really incentivizes them to sign a multi-year contract starting now, rather than having to wait until the contract expires. And you better believe that they were interested again. To sell it even more, Chris asked,
well, actually, really quick, how does the process work?
Which led to the final stage of the call. The next step for turning a prospect is to immediately ask to book a follow-up call to discuss it further and answer any questions that they or the rest of their team may have. If a lead shows interest, no matter how little, start integrating their answer about their sales process into the pitch. Chris showed how easily they could integrate UpLead into their prospecting process by giving an actual live demo of our lead database and exactly where it would fit into their current process without causing disruption. So if you have your lead on a video call, you can give them a screen share tutorial of how to use your product and tailor it to how they would specifically use it. When he showed her how the temporary solution would work, aka the process of getting data from ZoomInfo and then verifying and enriching it with UpLead, her maybe turned into a I'll be in contact with my team ASAP. And that's when it's time to act. Instead of waiting to book the follow-up call via email and risk losing that steam, Chris proposed a date and a time to follow up about both the temporary and the long-term solution. He put it on the calendar live on that call. Even though the lead did ultimately say that it would probably take around 90 days for a decision, given how slow things move internally, Chris still turned a no into a huge multi-year opportunity. It's still a win when a lead shares their timeline, so you'll know what to expect and can follow up accordingly and in a timely fashion. So what's the lesson here about how to turn a no into an opportunity? You gotta get curious. First, start with the questions, figure out why they said no, and discover what their needs are. Ask questions about them, their goals, their current tools, their issues, and what they want. Then build a case for what you're selling and how it'll directly solve their pain points and help them achieve their goals. For example, Chris focused on 95% data accuracy and our ability to target niche audiences with our advanced filters, technographics, and intent data. Then, once you get enough info, go for the hard pitch rebuttal, armed with all the info you just collected. Chris showed how UpLead can immediately solve their problem because of our flexibility and willingness to work with the company and their needs. By proposing alternative solutions, working with them, offering incentives, and understanding their concerns and situation, you're more likely to close the deal in the end. Want to find prospects who are more likely to convert? UpLead is your one-stop shop. I know we've spent a lot of this video talking about UpLead, but our 95% data accuracy, real-time email verification, and powerful intent data will bring you the target leads who want what you're selling. Find out more about how intent data works in this video. Try UpLead free for 7 days and access our entire database at uplead.com/YouTube. We offer annual and flexible monthly plans and an enterprise plan that's customized to your team needs. Email our enterprise team using this email address or book a demo with the link in the description. If this video helped you understand how to turn a no into a huge opportunity, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on that bell so that you don't miss any of our future videos on B2B sales success and more. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.